So you are on current times in real time. With this preamble and a welcome message, I'm joined by Dr. Santosh Ravindran, my co-host for this entire 2 days, along with the technical team. Allow me to introduce to you today's first speaker, Dr. Akash Akinwar is a graduate and postgraduate in periodontics from Government Dental College and Hospital, Mumbai. He is a clinician par excellence, and he also, I would like to give him the label of a daredevil periodontist and oral surgical skills. He helps clinicians throughout the state of Maharashtra, that is in and out of Mumbai, in their needs for placement of implants, restoration of implants, and periodontal surgical and non-surgical procedures. He has over 40 publications to his credit. And he brings to the table today a very unique and exciting phenomenon, which is fast catching up with clinicians, called the socket shield technique. Please welcome Dr. Akash Akinwar. Over to you, Akash.
Thank you, sir. My screen is visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So without further ado, I would like to start with my topic. Today, my topic is socket shield technique, also known as partial extraction therapy, root membrane or partial root retention. Yesterday was Teachers' Day. We all have celebrated it. And today I'm really lucky that one of my favorite gurus, Dr. Kumar Swami sir, is there, who has introduced me in his beautiful words. So he's the person looking at whom, observing whom we have grown up to this stage. So I'm really lucky today to have him as a moderator along with Dr. Santosh. And I also extend my sincere thanks to eFamdent for continuing their tradition of sharing knowledge even in this tough time like Corona. So hats off to the entire team, organizers, and the backup team. Thank you very much. So today's agenda is definitely socket shield technique, but I will try to cover all these topics within 30 minutes. What is socket shield technique? Why socket shield technique? When to go for socket shield technique? Where to opt for socket shield technique and how to do it? Statement of problem. The problem starts from maxillary anterior region because there are a lot of complexities involved in this region. Being an aesthetic zone, we know that there are a lot of things that we have to manage when we are operating in maxillary anterior region. So anyways, management of maxillary anterior region is always considered as complex and advanced, especially when patient has a higher lip line, the case becomes more tough. And adequate as well as stable hard and soft tissue is the key factor for durable success. We don't want limited success, we want durable success when we are doing implant treatment in maxillary anterior region. And aesthetic zone complications due to lack of hard and soft tissue can be disastrous. There are plenty of complications that can ruin your hard work, and it can really cause aesthetic errors in patient's mouth. So we need to be very careful. So we need an immediate implant technique that allows simplified and graftless procedure to achieve adequate hard and soft tissue around an implant in aesthetic zone. I am saying graftless because most of the time grafting procedure is skill demanding, it is complex and not a cup of tea for everyone. So thanks to socket shield technique, now we can manage maxillary anterior region, complex areas like maxillary anterior region without a graft in most of the situation. So what is the solution? Solution is, yes, it is out of the box. People started thinking out of the box. People started thinking out of the box and they have come out with socket shield technique. I believe that socket shell technique is a game changer in implant dentistry. It has changed my way of treating anterior cases, maxillary anterior cases. It has made my job much easier as well as predictable. So what happens after tooth extraction? If we go into the basics, we all know that the moment you extract tooth, there will be hard and soft tissue loss. That's a big problem because biggest challenge in maxillary anterior region is we have to maintain a harmony between pink and white. We need adequate hard and soft tissue around our implant for long-term stability. So the moment you extract tooth along with its parental ligament will come out. And as the major blood supply to bundle bone or socket wall, the buccal wall comes from parental ligaments. The moment that buccal bone is devoid of this blood supply, it will undergo resorption. And then that procedure will demand complex procedures like grafting. So immediate implant placement provides a right option to preserve hard and soft tissue around an implant. But what was the scenario before socket shell technique? We used to extract root pieces or tooth, and then we used to opt for all those regenerative procedures, which were sometimes unpredictable too. But immediate implant placement in many situations demand hard and or soft tissue augmentation, thereby increasing cost and complexity of the procedure. Now imagine if you have an immediate implant placement procedure where you don't need to put graft, you don't need to play with hard and soft tissue. A simple approach, imagine your job becomes much easier. That is what socket shield technique is all about. So basically, what is socket shield technique? So in 2010, Husler et al. Introduced socket shield technique, in which the partial root fragment was retained around and immediately placed implant with the aim of avoiding soft tissue alterations that happens after extraction. So the basic principle of socket shield technique is to retain a buccal portion of the root which will be in contact with buccal bone through parental ligaments, and that is how the buccal bone will be preserved as its vascularity will be intact. Socket shield versus PET versus root membrane. Let's go through it. So Howard Gluckman et al. Has renamed his original technique of socket shield technique as partial extraction technique, and he suggested grafting in almost all cases. Later on, Sirompas and Mitsias renamed this technique as root membrane, and they supported that there is as such no need of grafting. So now you have a question when to graft and when not to graft. So simple guideline that you can follow is whenever the jumping distance is more than 3 millimeter, you can opt for grafting in a socket. So that is what I follow in my practice. Whenever the distance between socket wall and implant is more than 3 mm, I opt for bone grafting. So this is the principle of socket shield technique. If you can see this diagram, there is a buccal shield attached with the buccal bone through parental ligaments, and implant is placed palatally. So what is the principle of socket shield technique? Preparation of root in such a way that buccal section remains in situ with buccal bone intact. Second principle is buccal root section or shield should remain intact and undamaged to prevent post-extraction remodeling and to support buccal soft tissue. So the question is how to do this technique, how to apply this. Just look at these schematics. It's a cross section of the maxilla. And if you have condition like this, a root piece or tooth in maxillary anterior region, that red part is parental ligament, which is attached with the buccal bone, which is very thin. What I would like to do is I would like to section this root piece in such a way that only two-thirds of buccal root will remain in the socket and the apex will be a part of palatal root. And now I have that thin buccal shield attached with the labial bone, buccal bone. I will place implant palatal to that. So the biggest advantage that I am getting here is the procedure is becoming simple, less complex, and graftless. And above all, if you see spacing between implant and shield, almost 2 to 3 spacing where there will be bone formation, and further again I have shield and labial bone. So altogether I am getting 4 to 5 millimeter bone labial or buccal to my implant. What else one can imagine in maxillary anterior region? This is one of the most favorable situation. Let me put up shield specifications. Thickness of shield can be 1.5 to 2 mm. Shield level at crest. Always keep your shield at the crestal level or 1 mm above the crest. But do not trim your shield below the crest, because the moment you trim your shield below the crest, that portion of the labial bone or buccal bone will be devoid of parental ligaments and it will undergo resorption. The whole purpose will go for a toss. Shield level at apex. What should be the apical extension of the shield? You can keep it 2/3 of root length or 5 millimeter long, 5 to 6 millimeter long, or up to mid root level. And what should be the gap between implant and shield? 2 millimeter or less is always better. More is the gap, you need to go for grafting. Now, why socket shield technique? Why I urge every practitioner, every implant practitioner to begin with this technique? Because socket shield technique provides an option of immediate implant placement without grafting in most of the situations. And you also get adequate hard tissue around an implant, especially buccal to implant, which is more prone for resorption. And thereby it maintains longevity of soft tissue stability. Your soft tissue stability is confirmed, and that is why each and every implant practitioner must jump into socket shield technique. You must begin with socket shield technique. I will explain here. If you have a situation like this, normally what we used to do in immediate implant cases, we used to extract that root piece. So that's a yellow line indicates the root level and white line indicates the bone. Bone is very thin labially. Most of the time you will have this kind of situation. So the moment I extract that root piece will come out with parental ligaments, and the buccal bone or the bundle bone will be devoid of vascularity, major source of vascularity, and it will undergo resorption. That will lead to a lot of complex problems and demanding a lot of complex management as well, including grafting and all. But look at this situation here. Same patient, when I did socket shield technique, what I am doing, that is the level of the implant, that is thickness of shield, say around 2 mm, and then I have labial bone at around 2 mm distance or 2 mm thickness. So now when there is healing, post osseointegration, I have a bone all around implant. The shield will be embedded inside the bone, and altogether I am getting 4 to 5 millimeter bone buccal to my implant. Believe me, there cannot be better situation than this. As we all know that soft tissue follows hard tissue. So if hard tissue is adequate, my soft tissue will always remain stable. That is the biggest advantage of socket shield technique. No graft, simple approach, and it's a quick, fast technique. Once you achieve mastery over shield preparation, it won't take more than 10 to 15 minutes. What are the indications? So let me put up this indication fast, because at the end I have to show you some interesting cases. Healthy and stable tooth with intact buccal bone that needs extraction. For what? Maybe failed endodontically treated tooth. There you can opt for socket shield. Crown fracture, especially in trauma cases. Residual deciduous tooth, there also you can opt for socket shield technique. Root fracture, but see to it that the fracture is not far below the crest. Root resorption, not involving buccal part of the root. Root perforation, not involving buccal part of the root. Advanced caries beneath gingival margin. All these are indications where you can opt for socket shield technique. Then what are the contraindications where you should not opt for this technique? Infected socket, especially when there is suppuration, there is a clear-cut sign of active infection, you should try to think about something else. Periapical infection, especially when it's a huge and not manageable easily. Lack of bone beyond the apex, because for any immediate implant placement, first criteria is your implant should get better stability. If you are not able to engage your implant in bone, better you think about some other option. If tooth or root has close proximity to vital structures, most important, if your tooth or root is mobile, you cannot plan socket shield technique. Root resorption, if it is extensive, you cannot plan. Vertical or horizontal root fractures below the crest, you cannot think about this technique. And yes, tooth with advanced periodontal diseases, you cannot plan. What are the advantages of socket shield technique? I have already mentioned the buccal portion of bone, which is more prone to resorption, is preserved by retaining a part of buccal root segment which shields periodontal ligament on buccal aspect of implant. Incisor, canine, and premolar region where the buccal bone is thin and also prone to fracture during extraction and may need grafting during implant placement. All these critical and delicate areas are taken care very well by this procedure. A single surgery, most important, no additional material cost, graftless solution, flapless solution can be done in areas with endodontic pathology as well. So it's a complete win-win situation for a clinician as well as patient. What are the disadvantages? No long-term data yet. It has been introduced in 2010. A lot of studies are going on all around world. And believe me, till now we have 3-year, 4-year long-term data, 3-year, 4-year data, which is showing a very promising result. I have cases which I have done 3 years, 4 years back. And believe me, till date, 100% success rate. Not a single case has failed. And it's a technique sensitive, but believe me, once you practice, once you get into it, you can prepare shield within 15 minutes, not more than that. Today I will give you demonstration. There will be a video. I always recommend practitioners to opt for CBCT. CBCT is must for any maxillary anterior case. Whether you are opting for immediate or delayed case, you should always get CBCT done. This is a case. Look at the CBCT. You can see the vertical, the fracture line, which is going obliquely towards crest. And the best part is I have abundant bone apically and palatally where I can engage my implant. Another case of lateral incisor region. Look at the CBCT section. These are ideal cases because the labial bone is very thin. The moment you extract this root piece or tooth, you are bound to get that severe resorption on labial side or buccal side, demanding grafting procedures. I will mention some favorable situations for socket shed. Situation 1, situation 2, and situation 3. Situation 1, the root is positioned labially. Situation 2, in the mid level. And situation 3, root piece, it could be in a palatal side where the bone is thin. So socket shield can be done in all these situations except the middle one where you don't need socket shield. You can simply extract root piece and place implant. But situation 1 and situation 3, you can also opt for palatal shield procedure. So shield has been classified into 6 different types. Not only buccal, we have full buccal, interproximal, palatal. There are different types. I will tell you about the article which you can refer. So classification of socket shield technique is divided. The socket shield technique is divided into 6 types. This is type 1 or buccal shield, which is most common. And as a beginner, I will recommend you to opt for this procedure only. And you can definitely refer this classification from this wonderful article by Udatt Kher sir. He is one of the pioneers of socket shield technique in our country. What is the armamentarium? Let's simplify this. You need basic surgery instrument. As you are not doing any complicated or complex grafting procedures, you need basic surgery instruments. Apart from implant kit and physio dispenser for implant placement, we need few other specific instruments for socket shielding. So there are different kits available in the market. Partial extraction therapy kit, which has specific burrs, long burrs, which will be helpful for preparation of the shield. These are called PET burrs. Also, a gingival protecting shield. So when you are shaping your shield, you should not damage your soft tissue. So this shield, gingival protecting shield, will protect the soft tissue. So PET kit is the only investment I feel at this time you have to put into. I recommend this Zacria 28 bar by Strauss company. I am not recommending or promoting any company, but this is a beautiful bar, 28 long and really useful. I am using it regularly. It cuts root like a knife in a cake. It's really amazing. And when you are using air rotor, I recommend this kind of air rotor where air comes out from the back side. So this is 45-degree angulated air rotor handpiece where air comes from the back side. So you don't need to worry for air emphysema and all. But anyways, with normal air rotor also, you can carry out this procedure. And I strongly recommend good periotomes and root elevators so that you can atraumatically elevate palatal section. And if you have piezo surgery unit, nothing like that. This is one of the best instruments to elevate or remove all those delicate root pieces atraumatically. Let's begin with the cases now. I will present you first case. And in all these cases, we have given provisionals. So you can always opt for either tooth supported provisional or implant supported provisional. So in this case, I have given Maryland bridge to the patient as a provisional. So this was the situation, preoperative situation. That's palatal view. You can see the root piece. Let's take X-ray. There is abundant bone apically, CBCT, and this is ideal situation. And this is classic case for socket shielding because there is a very thin bone labially. You can see abundant bone apically as well as palatally, so that we can place implant and engage it with better stability. And the shield was prepared. You can see 2 mm thick, 1 millimeter supracrestally, extending up to mid-root level. This is a shield which is around 2 to 3 mm below gingival margin, so that we will achieve that classic emergence. 3.5 by 30 mm implant was placed palatal to the shield. You can see the jumping distance was less than 2 mm, so there is no need for graft. And I placed gingival former because this was my consultation case. Clinician had already prepared a Maryland bridge, so we went ahead with that. Now the mistake over here is I should have gone more palatally. I agree with that. My mistake. That's my mistake, because when you place implant too much labially inclined or buccally inclined, you have only option of cement return prosthesis. And if you you want to make a screw return prosthesis, at the time of surgery only you have to place your implant more palatally inclined. So ideally implant should have been placed this way, so that the access hole would come on the cingulum area, and you would be able to give a screw retain prosthesis. So finally we gave this milled zirconia abutment and zirconia prosthesis, which was cement retained. This is abutment fixing at proper torque, and it was sealed with composite, and the crown was cemented. The prosthesis was cemented. Case 2. In this case, patient was already using RPD, and that was the situation. So when he reported, there was a root piece with 2-1 left central incisor. You can see the palatal view. I want you all to also observe documentation so that you can document your cases. Please start documenting. Documentation can change the quality of your work. That is first impact of documentation on our work. So that's a CBCT section. You can see abundant bone. So it's classic case, indicated case. Palatal root portion was removed, and then implant was placed 4 by 13 mm. And you can see the distance between shield and implant, it's almost 2 mm or less. Mesially it is quite more than the 2 mm, but still I didn't put any graft. I modified gingival former. I customized it because implant was quite deeper, and patient was happy with his RPD. So we left it as it is. And after 3 months, we gave him Emax veneer on right central because there was diastema initially. So we had to give veneer on right central incisor, and that was the left central incisor. You can see there is very slight black triangle. You can see that will be taken care, because anyways the distance between the contact and crest is less than 5 mm. Case 3. In this case, I have gone for a very unique approach. Basically, in this case, I have used patient's fractured crown as a chair side provisional. So I would like to show you this case in detail. So the maxillary right central incisor had issue. Patient had an accident, and there was a big fall on central incisor region, and he had a fracture. You can see this CBCT section. Again, everything is favorable. So what I did, I removed that crown portion, cleaned it, washed it with antibiotic solutions. I usually prefer ciprofloxacin in my practice. That was the baseline situation after beheading that tooth. So again, same bar I used for sectioning, and you can see mesiodistally you have to section the root, keeping more part palatally, and as I told you, try to keep apex in the palatal section. So when you elevate that palatal root piece, you will have apex as a part of the palatal portion. And these are different components. You can see shield 1.5 to 2 mm thick. The principle was followed thoroughly, and implant was placed. And you can see that implant keeping 0.5 to 1 mm space. This is radiographs. These are radiographs. And what I did is I immediately trimmed stock abutment. Chair side milling was done. It was fixed to the implant, sealed with Teflon tape completely, and With the help of composite, I fixed that crown portion on that abutment, cured it. This is how it was. You can see palatally. We need to finish that portion palatally. So again, it was taken out, and out of mouth it was reshaped and finished, and that is how it was placed in patient's mouth. It's like a screw retained provisional, chair side provisional, but implant supported. So the biggest advantage of giving implant supported provisional is tissue will be matured by the time patient comes back for final prosthesis. You don't need to worry for tissue. That's the biggest advantage, especially in maxillary anterior region, and especially when you are restoring central incisor, where one central incisor has to be mirror image of other. If you can appreciate, we have reduced this provisional 1 or 2 mm incisally to avoid any kind of loading on that implant during excursive movements. And that's the X-ray after 3 months. This is how patient reported back. And after removal of that provisional, look at the tissue topography. It's absolutely beautiful. Everything is stable. So now my job is to go ahead with prosthetic procedure to provide him final prosthesis. So in such cases, whenever you are giving implant supported provisional, you will have a tissue topography which will be unique in that case, for that case. So we need to replicate that tissue topography on impression coping so that we will able to replicate that tissue topography inside our impression and eventually in our cast. That was final screw rated PFM prosthesis. In anterior cases, zirconia emax is the preferred material, but in this case, budget was short, so we had to go according to that. Still, I think we have done justice to this case. Before giving this final prosthesis, we had asked him about closing the diastema. Patient was absolutely comfortable. He said, I don't want to close. Otherwise, I would have given a veneer on left central incisor. There are a lot of reference articles which I have referred. I will send you all those articles if you contact me later on. I very strongly recommend this textbook by our very own doctors from India, Dr. Udatta sir, Ali sir. This is a wonderful compilation of scientific data and clinical data. Please go for this book. This will help you a lot, because socket shield technique is a vast topic. I cannot cover in 30 minutes. Even days are not enough. So now I would like to give you a small demonstration of socket shield through this video. I want you all to observe this video. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, you will have to just exit
Yeah.
screen share.
Yeah.
You have to enable 2 buttons and then again replay the video because it was not playing. That's why. So what you need to do is,
Okay.
okay, now below there are 2 boxes optimizing. If you see, once you hit screen share.
Okay, I got it. I got it, sir. I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, now play the video.
I will do it again. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just let me know.
She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift and hope that you'll take it into her side. La 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 la.
Last 30 minutes I will take. So I
30
want
seconds. 30
30,
seconds.
30 seconds. Yeah, sir. 30 seconds, not minutes. Yeah. Next speaker will kill me otherwise. So guys, I request you all to practice like this before directly opting in patient's mouth. Do practice like this. And believe me, within 3-4 practice sessions, you will able to do this in patient's mouth. So action is the fundamental key to all the success. But the worst part is not taking action. So even if your action is imperfect, no problem. It is better than perfect inaction. And success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. I finish my session with these beautiful lines by Nelson Mandela. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. With that note, I conclude my session here. You can approach me through all those modes. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Famdent, for giving me this opportunity. I hope I could do justice to this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Akash. You did more than justice, I must mention, because what I liked was you laid out in simple terms and bullet points as to where we can do this.
Yeah.
You also mentioned where we may encounter some amount of inhibitions.
Right.
You also, in that beautiful video, showed them step by step of the armamentarium and what is required. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Akash.
Thank you,
You've done real justice to how to on the socket shield. And like you rightly mentioned, we should be very proud of Udatta and Ali Tunkiwala. Because these two people have pioneered this technique
in India.
Not only kept it to themselves, they went ahead and they continue to impart.
Yeah. They are true teachers, sir. True qualities of teachers.
Thank you so much, Akash.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Yeah.